Good afternoon. I'm Arnie. You're watching Pepper Tree Villa, and this is today's edition of the Daily Dose of Disney. I hope everyone's doing well. It's been an interesting day around here. I was out yesterday afternoon for an appointment that I had, which is why Doug and I were outside in the wild yesterday afternoon when we were doing the Daily Dose for the 18th. But today is September 19th. No, you cannot. Never, Mike. Obviously, I missed something from the chat that happened prior to going on air. So I guess Mike Wheeler's here in the house. I saw two real geeks. That must be Danny. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, Samantha. Disney Boffins, great to have you. Greetings from California. Hello, Rachel. Thank you for joining. Good to have you here. Oh, Noah, wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. It's great to see people coming into the stream so I can talk with people. I really do like this time. Oh, Scott and Charlie, hello. Thank you for being here. Hello, Mike. How are you? Oh, my goodness. Oh, thank you, Samantha. Yes, we are definitely friends. This is your Daily Dose of Disney for September 19th, 2019. Hello, Arjans, Leanne. Oh, my goodness. Donna, thank you for being here. Oh, Rachel, you know what? We'll probably figure something out. Rachel, I guess, is going to be at Disneyland next September and is hoping that everyone can come down and meet up with her. There will definitely be people in our network that meet up. Definitely. So, September 19th, 2019. A few things happened on this day in Disney history. Hello, Jim. Thank you for being here. It's always great to see Mr. More Sunshine, please. By the way, that was a wonderful interview yesterday with the Disney Nerd Herders. Jim, if you did not catch that video, definitely give it a shot because I'll tell you, Jim was very amusing. He always is. Oh, Disney Boffins are going to Disneyland Paris next month. I haven't been to Disneyland Paris since July of 1999. 20 years. That's far too long since I've been to Disneyland Paris. I need to correct that. I know Doug would like to go too. So, well, let's get started with this Daily Dose. Steve, thank you for joining. Little darling, good to have you here. On this day, September 19th in 1927. At this point, Walt has started working with Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. This is the second cartoon that's released on this day. It's called Oh Teacher. It's Oswald's sweetheart is stolen by a schoolyard bully. So the typical story of the schoolyard bully. But the fact is that it's Oswald the Lucky Rabbit in 1927, and just less than a year later, that character is taken from him when he reads his contract in front of the people there at Universal, and they say, "You know what? We own Oswald. You don't." Yesterday, we made mention of that fact that Walt did things differently with Mickey Mouse. And yesterday, September 18th in 1928, a trademark had been granted for Walt for Mickey Mouse. So he wanted to make sure that he got that. No one could take Mickey from him. And right now, Mickey is the one responsible for the trademark laws the way they are. So, pretty significant trademark rules and laws in our country because of Mickey Mouse. Disney protects Mickey very, very strongly. So, in 1959, September 19th, 1959, this is the day that Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev has arrived in Los Angeles. It's going to be a 13-day visit to the United States. And he is supposed to tour housing projects in Los Angeles, but at that time, his wife and children were with him. They wanted to go to Disneyland. I guess Nikita wanted to go to Disneyland as well, but he was turned down when security officials could not guarantee his safety. So it's not that they didn't want him to go, it's just that they couldn't guarantee his safety in the park. Everyone always talks about the fact that he was blocked at the gates. That's not how it happened. They just could not verify they could not guarantee his security at the park. So it was a decision the decision was made not to have him in the park. So, oh my goodness. Let's see. 1966. Oh, I'm sorry. Nikita that day attended a luncheon at 20th Century Fox and Studios instead of being at Disneyland. So, I don't know, Disneyland or 20th Century Fox for lunch. I would choose Disneyland anytime. Lorena, thank you for being here. Good to have you. So, 1966. Let's move forward a few years. Walt gave a press conference and he spoke about a development that was happening in Southern California in the mountains called Mineral King. It was supposed to be a ski resort, and I don't know if you've ever heard about this thing, but do a little search on it and you'll find some very interesting things on Mineral King. The attraction at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom, the Country Bear Jamboree, was originally developed to be part of Mineral King Ski Resort in the mountains of Southern California. It was supposed to be a 5-story hotel, an alpine village, a skating rink, dormitories for young people, and restaurants. And they put all these plans out there, but environmentalists felt that the untouched land would be desecrated. And so they did not want to, and Congress got involved, and they eventually voted to turn down Mineral King, to turn Mineral King into part of Sequoia National Park. Now that's also significant. Sequoia National Park is also the place that you would visit the large sequoias here in the country. Nabul, thank you for being here. My goodness, I've got people from all over the world today. Nice to have you here, Nabul. So that was in 1966. Also on this day in 1966, Disneyland was preparing for the new Tomorrowland. And on this day, they closed one attraction, removed it. It was Monsanto's Hall of Chemistry. Monsanto's slogan at that time was better living through chemistry. They had a display in Tomorrowland at Disneyland, but it was closed so that they could make room for a new attraction that was going to be sponsored by Monsanto, and that was Adventure Through Inner Space. Now that one closed in the mid-80s, and then they took that space and they converted it into Star Tours. So it's essentially almost the same queue in the beginning that they had, but then it went even further back for Star Tours. So I'll probably do a video on that sometime to show you what the differences between Star Tours and Adventure Through Inner Space are. I am thinking about some history videos where I do a full-on edit and give you some information about Disneyland, but that'll be in the future. Let's move forward 20 years, in 1986. Now, yesterday I mentioned that Captain EO had debuted at Disneyland on September 18th. Well, on this day, the next day after Captain EO's debut, Disneyland held a special party. And this party, did someone put Steve's World on timeout? I know I didn't. I've been reading the news and the history. Did someone do that to Steve? Steve, I'm sorry if someone did that to you. Definitely not meant to be, I'm sure. Anyway, it was a 60-hour party at Disneyland. Donna. They did a 60-hour party for the 3D film, Captain EO. The park opened on September 19th, the morning at 10 a.m. Didn't close until 10 p.m. on September 21st. It was open for 60 straight hours. And each party guest that went during that time received a coupon, and it was validated if they saw the film, which they would then be able to... Uh-oh. Apologies for that. I don't know what happened there, but my stabilizer didn't like something, so it's okay now. Let me get back to that. So Captain EO. Everyone received a coupon, and they could validate that when they saw the movie. Once it was validated, they were able to go someplace and receive a complimentary t-shirt from Disneyland. So, and of course it was, I believe it was the shirt that had the pattern that's on the chest. When Michael Jackson pulls his jacket open, you see the rainbow on his chest. That was the shirt they gave away. No, you're dizzy. Yes, apologies for the technical malfunction of my stabilizer. Let me get back to reading this day in history. 1989, the Library of Congress, they selected Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs on this day in 1989, 30 years ago, to be placed on the National Film Registry as culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. I personally think it's all three. Steve. Also on this day, September 19th, 2001, a little attraction at the Disney MGM Studios opened, One Man's Dream. They did their first soft opening on this day, and it was formally dedicated on December 5th, which was Walt's birthday. To be exact, Walt's 100th birthday. Yeah, not an earthquake, Jim. Definitely not an earthquake. But for some reason, my stabilizer decided to have a little hiccup. So it seems to be okay now. 2006. Now, I'm not sure when the Walt Disney Company started selling digital copies of their cartoons and films on iTunes. However, on this day, it was announced that in less than a week, they had sold 125,000 digital copies of films on the iTunes store. And at that time, it generated $1 million. And that was something they didn't have to do. Oh, hello, Pam's fam. Yes, thank you for being here. Yeah, no problem. Just good to have you here. That was 2006. In 2012, now, 2012 was significant for the space program. That was when they had the final flight of a space shuttle, and that was the Endeavour. And on this day, it took flight, but not the way you would think. The Endeavour took flight from Florida and flew over Walt Disney World on top of a 747. So it was essentially the 747 that was flying, and it was taking the Endeavour. And that was the trip that took that particular space shuttle all over the country. I was chatting a little with Danny from Two Real Geeks a little earlier today about that. He saw the picture and said that he remembered that day. And I said, absolutely, I remember that day too. PTV2, that's Ben, everyone. Hi, Ben, thanks for being here. So on this day, that was when the Endeavour aboard a 747 flew over Walt Disney World. And it took several days for that trip to go over throughout the country, because at that time, it was taking a nice leisurely trip across the country and stopping and then taking off again and going over various places so as many Americans could see the Endeavour as possible. I even remember seeing that. Ben saw it from city Walnut Creek. I was in Martinez at that time. Both cities is where we worked at that time. But we definitely saw the space shuttle fly overhead during that last trip, and eventually landed in Southern California, and then took a long trip along the streets to get to the California Science Center in Los Angeles. Now it's on display there. We saw it a couple of years ago, and it is breathtaking to see that space shuttle on display. It is just absolutely amazing. So that's what I have here for this day in Disney history. Let me tell you about something that's happening tonight on the Disney YouTube network. Starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, Mickey Sightings will be doing their bi-weekly show. They do a show twice a week, Mondays and on Thursdays, and this is Thursday, so they're doing it. Also, Eye to Eye Disney Through Our Eyes will be on doing, usually they do Disney trivia, and there it is again. And I'm upside down. That's it, I'm taking this off. Apologies for that, people. So sorry. So let me finish off this way. I know, this stabilizer, I'm upside down. Yeah, Ben, a quote from one of our favorite films. So let me go ahead and finish it off here. Jim. So Eye to Eye Disney will be doing Disney trivia. They usually do Disney trivia on Thursdays at 7:30 p.m., 4:30 Pacific. Yeah, hashtag Gimbal Gone Crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure this out. So we'll figure it out, and we'll work on that. Thursdays are pretty busy here. That's right. What's Up Doc is the movie. So also on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, Walt and Melissa Mouse Talk will be on the air, and they'll be discussing Disney. They usually do on Thursday nights. And then also on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, Chris with Disney World Adventures will most likely be holding a premiere. His streaming rights had been revoked for 90 days. He's been put on a YouTube timeout. Go check out his channel. He'll explain what happened and what's going on with that. But he is going to be continuing with his daily dose of Disney trivia, posting those videos as much as possible, as well as doing the wildest ride on PTV. Thank you, Mike. So Disney World Adventures will most likely be doing a preview. Danny, real men don't use gimbals. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that. So anyway, everyone, that is all I have for the Daily Dose today. Today, Ben dropped a video about his time at Disneyland. So if you have not yet checked out the video, please go to Pepper Tree Villa and check out Ben's video, Life with Ben, dropped this morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. And it is now live. And it's a great little montage of Disneyland video set to music. And it's great. Actually, it opens with Ben in an airplane, and he's got some video of Disneyland from the air. And it just so happened when he was arriving in Orange County, fireworks were shooting off at Disneyland. Pretty darn cool. That's right, Mike. It was the whole Library of Congress thing. That's what it was. 1989, 30 years ago. So everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this Daily Dose of Disney. We'll be back tomorrow. And most likely, if I can convince him, Doug will be joining me if he doesn't have a meeting. So it'll be hopefully both of us tomorrow. And if not, then I will definitely be doing the Daily Dose. And I'll do my best to keep it at the same time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Consistency really does help. So everyone, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. I really appreciate that time that you've spent with me. It's always nice to spend time with my village. In the meantime, everyone, have a magical evening and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bye, everyone.